Hey guys, it's Lynn with Fidget DIYs. Thanks for clicking on my video. Today I have for you the final part in my 3-part Gulf Coast series, where I take things from the beach and make them awesome. So, join me and let's fidget. Alright guys, for this first DIY I started out with this word. It says welcome. It's a 3D word that I got from like the area in Dollar Tree where they sell the wall decals. And that frame I found on the side of the road. Someone threw it away, and that was their doggy. I'm not making a change to the glass. I'm just going to take this peel and stick wallpaper and apply that to the center, because I'm not going to really use it as a picture frame. And then here I'm putting as little hot glue as I possibly can on the frame to apply these different pieces of driftwood, just to kind of outline that, but I don't want to ruin the frame. So also right there with the chicken wire, I used masking tape and just taped that to the side of the frame. You can't see it when I'm done, but I didn't want to permanently adhere that. So I'm just dry fitting everything, adding where I need it to be added. And here I'm going to pull some shells. I added a couple little ones. That one would not stay. And I'm going to throw some greenery. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, the word. I filled in the inside of the letters, like the E and the L. And then I should have dry brushed it and everything while it was still on that paper. But I went ahead and took it off. And I applied it to my frame. And I'm just going to put it kind of, at an angle. I think it adds interest when I put stuff like that at an angle. And I'm going to tack it down with a little bit of glue. And here I go through and try to dry brush that with it still on the frame, and it didn't work the greatest. So for a minute I would distress it and then paint over it and pull it back some, and then distress it and pull it back some. And I finally got it to looking decent, but then I wanted to outline the letters. So I got this black felt pen from Dollar General. They're like $3. They're expensive, but I like it. And I only have one of them. So here I'm adding the greenery, putting it in a couple of spots. I tried some coral, but I didn't like the color combination. You guys are going to have to let me know in the comments what you guys would have done differently with this one. And here it is. I really like how this turned out, and it's on my front door welcoming everyone with a happy little beach scene. For this one, I found this easel type frame at the Dollar Tree. It's very summery, but I'm going to change that on the front just to do my own thing. I'm going to spray it with some water and let that sit for a minute. I'm going to take my paint scraping tool and clean the front of that. Once that's all clean, I got some matte Mod Podge, and I'm doing a pretty healthy coat on the whole thing. I had to add some more, but what I'm going to be doing is the iron-on method of adhering that paper to my piece. So I'm going to take some parchment paper and my little mini iron, and I'm going to go over that, paying close attention to the sides and then the feet area where there's kind of like a gap between the feet. And I'm checking to make sure that everything adhered. Now I'm going to come through with my X-Acto knife and get as close as I can to that. Trim off the excess. And now I'm going to sand the edges down. I sanded it pretty hard because I like the, edges. I don't know. It just distresses the edges a little bit to me. And I went to the Cricut and got a mermaid image and printed that out. Just kind of making sure that I set it straight on there. And here I forgot to pull the little arm, the arms out of my image. So I'm going to do that and carefully place her on there as straight as possible. Now this transfer sheet, it was so, it almost tore up everything that I was working on. I don't like it. I got that at the Dollar Tree, so I'll probably be getting that from Walmart from now on. And I added the words, make waves. And here I noticed some bubbles in my paper, so I went back and just ironed over it really well, and you can see the bubbles just went away. I love this method of Mod Podging. And then, I had to iron it one more time. I found one more bubble. Now it's completely smooth. And I'm going to put the hardware back on there because I do like the little clip. And here it is. I added a little twine bow and seashell at the very top left corner. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this one. This one has a lot of components to it. So I've got this light cover, and I got some clear school glue with blue food coloring, and I did a nice coat on the inside of that. And now I've got one of the peat pots and a wood round from a sign from Dollar Tree, both from Dollar Tree, and that's some hazelnut by Waverly. I'm going to paint both of those as they're going to be the base to my piece. And here I'm just showing you guys how after I put my driftwood in the oven, I like to just brush through and make sure all of the sand is gone. And I'm going to take some Waverly chalk paint in Snow White and distress the two pieces that are going to make up the base. And I got this thicker jute rope from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use my hot glue and go around what is the bottom of that peat pot and add a nice generous layer of hot glue. And I'm going to put the light cover on top of that and straighten that up. And then I'm going to put some more hot glue down in the center. I'm trying to kind of create a seal because we're going to put sand in this thing. Now I'm just kind of positioning the base how I want it. I'm going to glue that to the wood round at the bottom. And I did hot glue around the edge and let some of the glue seep down so that it would adhere well to that wood round. And now I'm taking that jute rope and I'm going to start where the glass meets that peat pot. And I'm just going to wrap and wrap and wrap until it meets the wood round. Now I'm setting up two seashells. I'm going to glue those together. They're going to be a part of the center. And that's going to fit right into that little bottle. And that bottle was a tea light candle holder thing. And I just took the metal piece out of the center. And you're not going to be able to tell that it doesn't have a bottom. I'm going to run some fairy lights in there. And use my tweezers to pull that. And just kind of position those where they're in the whole bottle. Here I took a piece of burlap ribbon. It's 4 inches wide, and I cut it down the center and then took off the edge of the ribbon, and it gave me 2 individual pieces. Both pieces I cut at 24 inches for both strips. Now I'm going to fray the edges. I'm going to take this small wreath form that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to wrap that burlap all the way around so I can hide the wreath form, glue it to itself, and I'm going to start on that second piece. And I just wrap the whole thing just to hide that wire. This is going to make up the bottom, and it's going to give it some stability. And here I'm just kind of fitting things together, and I wanted to make a base so that the whole thing would be glued together. And to do that, I used these jumbo popsicle sticks and just did like an X pattern across the bottom of that wreath form. So when I turn it over, it's going to have something for the center to sit on. I took the last little piece of that jute rope from Dollar Tree, and I did the very edge of that wood round. because there was a gap between the wood round and the wreath form, and I wanted this to be an entirely solid piece. So I put that in there. We're going to glue it down with a lot of hot glue. And here's where we start with the driftwood pieces. I love adding driftwood to just pretty much all of my coastal decor, to be honest. It's just something about it, guys. Does something extra. So I'm going to place those around there, and I have a couple of shells picked out to put on the base as well. Here I just got a piece of paper, crumbled it up, made it look aged, and I'm going to tie jute around that, and I'm going to poke that into the top of that bottle. And I know I messed up my tea lights, so now I'm going to have to go through and finagle that again. Pull that out to where you can see the lights throughout the whole thing. I'm just going to tack the little battery pack on the very edge of that bottle. And here we go with our sand. And I'm going to tuck the bottle in there so where you can't tell that it's missing its bottom. Now I'm going to add little shells into the bowl and around the base. I come in with a little bit of greenery. I kind of want it to look like it's under the water. This thing turned out really cute. It's a very neat little centerpiece. My mom loves it. She begged me to put it on the table. So here it goes. Let me know what you guys think of this one. It's a lot of different components to make up this little guy here. Drop in the comments what you guys think of this one and what you would have done differently. I hope you guys liked the video. Please subscribe and click the notification bell so you'll know when I post again. Like and share the video so we can grow the community. And for all of my subscribers, I love you guys. Catch you next time.